Hello everyone, good evening. This is Dr. Rao. Hope you are all doing well. And we are continuing our series on One Tip a Day on Wellness. Today we're going to talk about quiet quest of reflection and meditation on a daily basis, right? Um, I was actually talking on travel, vacation, and how we can really find ourselves, right? And know yourself is a big deal in spiritual circles. But I think it is important in all human beings, whether you are um, completely spiritual or not. Eventually, everybody will come. The people who make a lot of success in their materialistic life, they usually look to some inner peace, inner quest, and find out who we really are, right? That's our topic today, and we're going to look at that and see what is that we can talk about that. Okay, so let's begin with that. Okay, if you look at it, it's more like uh, this is a dedicating time for quiet reflection, or meditation to connect you to your inner self, right? Uh, this emphasizes the importance of stillness and introspection. For mental and spiritual health. It's not like giving up the world and then going into the hills and forest and then doing that. That was one time they used to do because they didn't care for the worldly life. Okay, that's different. But this is about in the presence of this rat race, how we can set aside all this. Uh, a little bit time, setting aside a little bit time for quiet reflection and meditation. How can we do it? What is the importance of how? What it does is it can enhance your awareness quite well, right? And then reduce stress and anxiety. Okay? They also deepen your understanding of who you are, what is your place in this world, things like that. Okay. Uh, if you really look at the what are the benefits of this quiet reflection and meditation, it does reduce your stress and anxiety. That's one thing because it can lower your cortisol levels and promote relaxation. Okay, that's very common, very well known by people, right? And then it does enhance your emotional health because it can lead to improved self-esteem for yourself and a more positive outlook on life. Okay, helping to combat depression, anxiety, things like that. Of course, it does improve concentration because that is something people are not doing these days. They are going from one to another, and that is decreasing their attention span because don't have the concentration. Okay, so these practices can improve your attention, and then it really helps you to improve your concentration as a whole. Of course, promoting awareness, not thinking over yourself, but you aware of your thoughts and feelings and all that. Okay, and then it does increase empathy and compassion to other people, right? That is a wonderful quality to gain. And then it does take you to higher state of consciousness if you care something about that. Okay? But I'm going to be very practical about it. What you do is you always set a regular time and you go to the same place if possible. That will be good. If you, I have one room in my house, it's dedicated for meditation. Anybody goes there, they will be doing that, and then that atmosphere also helps you to continue the mood. And then you can always start small and go very, very, like increments. And you cannot do so many minutes. Maybe start with a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, like that. And then if you use a guided meditation or somebody is directing you to do it, do that. Of course, you always have to combine with the breathing exercises, which I always talk about. And also, you better keep a journal of what happened in the session, what kind of thoughts, what kind of inspirations, what kind of feelings have come. Okay, that way you can revise them. And be consistent with the practice. Okay, don't do once in a week, do it daily. So when you do this, some of the tips for the effective practice are you got to be patient and you got to educate yourself, you know, and you can attend workshops and retreats that will help you to get into that, and then incorporate mindfulness through the day, not just the time you're doing it. That will help you, and then use technology wisely. These are the things that you want to understand, that you're always there. Okay. Um, so with that, uh, it's a very important topic for people who are really wanting real peace, real happiness, contentment, and uh, having this feeling of fulfillment that is not coming with your family, with your work, with your achievements, with your degrees, whatever. Then you turn inward and find out that you are that life spark that is there in everybody, but we are going away from that all the time, and that is breeding all this insecurity, lack of contentment, lack of love and affection within you to give to other people. All those things are there. Even the happiness is not out there. That is something you will come to once you realize the happiness within, right? This is not just like a statement, but it's okay. Um, Conviction or lifetime of understanding and study that helps you to look inward and find the diamond where we can really focus, and then we can really stay with it. That feeling of, in ancients, they described as existence, consciousness, and bliss. Satchit Anand, right? Once you are in there, it will be much easier for you to depend on that. Okay, uh, your physical wellness will be better handled. Your egoic mind will be, kind of uh, neutralized. You may not be able to get up the ego, but you can use the ego like a good slave, not a master. That's itself is a big deal for a lot of people. But this kind of very simple practice I told you about, select a room, go there every day, spend some 5-10 minutes closing your eyes, and then reflecting and meditating, and really doing some guided meditation with somebody, or using some apps, whatever helps you. Okay, but do that consistently, and do that just to calm your mind down and really understand what is going on through the mind. Watch them, watch the thoughts as they come. I ask my students, watch them like the clouds in the sky. They come, they go, and they disappear in the sky. So you got to watch the thoughts without indulging yourself, or without resisting them. Let them be, and then watch. Be that watcher, and that watcher gives you an insight into what's happening. You know, uh, it's all kind of most of the time people are so much in rush, or they may not have an idea about this, or they may catch it very late, or they were sick and then they started to take this. I kind of promote this kind of reflection and meditation as part of wellness. See, I say 4 pillars of wellness, right? So whoever heard me before, they know vital nutrition. It's not just any diet and fancy diet, not that. The nutrition has vitality in it. That's the number one pillar. Number two pillar is optimal physical exercise. Keep the body moving, do enough exercise and all that. Functional fitness will be good. Okay. And then you want to have a quality sleep and rest. That way, you have a chance to body and mind catch up with regeneration and all that, right? You know what I'm talking about. And then the fourth one is this is the one most other people miss is you got to handle your mind. Calm it first, slow it down, and then focus on one thought, and then go beyond the thought. So for this, you need what I was telling you about, quiet quest. Very quietly, that means you are not thinking a lot. You just quiet yourself down and stay in one place and allow you to have insight into your thought patterns, your emotional patterns, all that comes into consideration when you're quietly, you are questing after yourself, your real self, your real nature, right? That's the essence of the yoga also. Yoga is having so many different things, but essentially, if you take the most important book in yoga of the recent times, it was there even before this book, but this is called Patanjali Yoga Sutra. I'm sure many of you know about it. And this Yoga Sutra tells you 8 different steps. And one of the steps is this physical yoga, but then have a moral character, ethical character, then do the asanas or the physical asanas, and then breathing, and then withdraw your senses and concentrate and go into one thought, stay with the one thought. That's called the meditation, and then go beyond it to observe into your real nature. That is yoga, right? So you can do physical yoga, but what we are talking about is yoga is for the mind. How you keep your concentration, how you keep your attention focused, and you want to be with one thought all day, and then you want to go beyond that thought, and then you gain a lot of focus and concentration. That's I think one of the best system described is this Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Okay, and it was difficult for to understand. People read for 20, 30 years to understand, but essentially he tells you the whole thing in the second and third stanzas, really. First stanza is this is the discipline of yoga, right? And then and then you go beyond that is the second one, right? Where you say, okay, I am going to still the mind. And the third stage is when I still the mind, I embark on my nature, on my real nature. And that is, if you don't do it, all your thoughts and everything will come out and you will be functioning like that, but not in your real nature. Okay. This is where all the problems happen. Okay. So that's why quiet quest on a daily basis is very important. Consider that and always um, follow a program that's suitable for you. Select a time every day. Select the same space, and then go and sit there. Um, Banish all the uh, apps or whatever you have on the devices. Put them to mute so that they won't disturb you. And tell the family that I'm going to be doing this self-reflection or meditation for a few minutes. So please don't disturb, something like that. They communicate with them, they will cooperate with you better, right? And then go and do actual exercise and like sit down and focus and close your eyes and focus on the breath first, and then watch the thoughts, then come to one thought and go beyond the thought, absorb in that stillness, in that silence that you can get. It takes a lot of time before you get that. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but the moment you settle down for a regular time and space, and you are able to do that, it could be a habit, it could be something that your system gets used to, and it's very useful when you have times of stress and anxiety, a lot of things going on around you. If you can touch that inner silence, inner quiet space, that is going to come to your aid, because you are not going to be going into anxiety when your thoughts are weaving on itself and imagining a lot of dangers that may not be there in the future, or fearful of that, right? And then if you are negative, then you can go into depression. That's also not there too. So it's a question of having this good habit in this modern time where there's so much information is happening, right? So don't underestimate the benefit of this in this modern information age when you need to handle your mind. Actually, when you have the contentment, peace, and quietness, you have highest health possible. When you get into that real self, real nature, then the mind is quiet. And because the mind is so quiet, it's not running away whenever you have something, then you don't produce so many stress hormones, right? And that's why it's very difficult for people to understand how to still the movement of thought. And because they're always stimulating themselves with lots of stimuli coming from the world. So what is happening? They go into so many reactions with a small thought also, right? And then they weave a network of thoughts and they produce all sorts of chemical reactions within you and generate the stress hormones. That's why keeping the mind quiet and undertaking this kind of exercise is very important for you. Okay, so actually, this is my important thing that I can convey to people is about how they can really enhance themselves by practicing this quietness and then really putting it as a part of your regular method that you want to be a armamentarium in your wellness practices. This attention to the mind and understanding what are the onslaughts that are happening with the mind, with so much information coming to us. That is the information overload I talk about. 24 hours news, all sorts of things come to you. It used to be if I'm here, I go to India, there are a lot of news gap, and not that much. But nowadays, if you go there, everything is available everywhere instantly. Okay, do you need all that information, or is that too much information harming you? I would say too much information, unnecessary information, is making you neurotic. That means you do the same thing again and again. You see the same newscast again and again, and you never be able to get those things out of your mind. And especially elderly people, they suffer a lot because they have these highways formed in their mind by unconsciously thinking a lot, right? So when they're in the 50s, 60s, 70s, they can't remember what happened today or yesterday, but they remember what happened 30 days ago because they have thought about those things so many times. So you have formed highways in the brain with the thoughts, and then that is a circle that they go through, right? And you can rewire them provided you are in the present and you're watching those thoughts as they come up without indulging in them. For example, some patient or somebody like I'm working 10 years ago, he has was nasty to us, to the office and all that. We professionally we used to we let it go, but personally sometimes people who are egotistical and they feel, oh my God, I was hurt, I was insulted, with the this, and then he carry that hurt of the ego for a long time and suffer like that. That affects their health. That is also there, but they don't realize that. Okay, even the teenagers, they have some problem with each other. They go to their friends and then talk about it and reinforce that incident when they were hurt or they were insulted or whatever, right? And then that's even girlfriends do that. I see that all the time in the office also, right? So not to cling, let it go, you need to have a hold on how your mind is responding to or reacting to, not reacting is a better word, reacting to every stimuli that is coming at you from all over, right? Social media, from parents, from culture, from your colleagues, your bosses, whatever, right? They all come at you. So what you want to do is you want to see and understand how you are reacting to trivialities and also stimuli of significance. What's important to you? What is that you want to spend time on, energy on? If you think of things that are not important to you, then they will take a lot of energy. Okay. One of the things my friends and colleagues always ask me, hey, how is that you have so much energy even at the end of the day? I tell them I don't deplete it, right? If I come on social media, I talk and all that, and there will be somebody who really doesn't agree with me. They want to come and argue with me. That's fine. But then they can say whatever their opinion. That's fine. I respect that. And then if I don't really carry that from that moment onwards, I don't spend time on thinking about it, worrying about it. Um, there may be several reasons, right? People have different opinions, people have different ideas, or conclusions, or concepts, and all that. For me, all those things are temporary. Our thoughts change completely. So why do I have to end up in that and then spend all my energy in that? So I don't deplete energy. This was taught to me by Krishnamurti, J. Krishnamurti. He talked about that. Energy is there, but we kind of engage in this perpetual thought machine, and that's why we spend a lot. Thoughts are powerful. They do spend a lot of energy. So don't get engaged in the thoughts, but be aware and use thought consciously. So I use the thought, I do the stuff, and afterwards I don't engage in going on like a, what do you call, chewing on the thoughts or reactions. Okay? If you don't react emotionally also, because there are very few things you should really react emotionally, which you may not have. There also, neuroscience has come up with new explanations, which Yoga talked about a long time ago. This is called a lower mind, which is the limbic system and reactions like animals and all that brain, the reptile brain. And most of the time we react from that. Okay. And that is, in Sanskrit, they call it manas. Uh, a library of memories or data and all that is there that forms that lower, it instantly reacts, right? So you want to understand that and hold on to it, not to react right away. Then you have this discriminatory capacity of the higher brain, which they call buddhi in Sanskrit, in yoga, and that is the one you want to. So you consider, you kind of discriminate, you kind of use your reason, and then react. Okay? That's the instant animal instinct reactions are there, but don't succumb to them because we are human beings who have higher intelligence. So use that higher intelligence to discriminate and to use proper allocation of that and then react, right? So that is very much how taught in mindfulness workshops, and they point out you can be present. That means you are not bringing the past or the future while you are living the life in the present. And then, if you should have some thoughts and all that, watch them. Don't indulge or don't suppress them. So that is a big deal about what I'm talking about, to understand the structure of the mind, to understand our reactions, to understand when, why we are reacting, how we are reacting, and really take a step back. This is where the reflection and meditation helps you a lot. Suppose you had a day of this back and forth with the world, with whoever you are working or whoever you are interacting, whoever have your family. So many reactions happen, right? But we never try to sit down and reflect on them. That's what I'm saying. Quiet quest is where you kind of want to put things in your mind in order, right? So for that, be attentive all day, and if the reaction should happen, let it happen, but then go in the night and then bring it back and understand why you reacted the way you do. Is there a better way to do it? How can you improve that? You know, that kind of thing will be very helpful for you to keep your mind really free of all this junk that you are accumulating, and clean it up, and also really put things in perspective. What's important for me, what's not important, why should I waste my emotional and also thought energy for these things? The moment you reflect like that on a daily basis, very soon you will figure it out what ticks you, what doesn't. Why do you have to be activated like that? So humans react. That's not great, but understanding that and leading a wise life is understanding your reactions and then improve on them. Okay, so this is something I always wanted to tell you about. Most likely, um, uh, this may be too much for some people. This may be um, not practical for some people. This may be uh, more like uh, more like too much to do in this busy life. But you are protecting your mind, you are protecting you from the stress hormones otherwise, and you are protecting yourself from not losing the attention and concentration, and you are protecting yourself from dementia, because the mind that thinks constantly wears out. It becomes mechanical, and that's when it's very difficult to control. Many of the elderly people who go through this dementia are really allowing their dead thoughts go through again and again. But if you engage in something new and something that is really stimulating you, you form more neuronal connections, now to now connections, right? And that's when you create a new brain for yourself. Okay. So, anybody has any questions or any comments, you can come up and talk to me about it. Uh, Anybody doing this in a better way, also you can come and talk to me about it. Important subject. There's a lot more to talk about, but I don't want to pour down everything in one night. It's supposed to be just a few tips to maintain your wellness. Mind management is like your time management. If you manage your mind better, you manage your time better too, and you live a quality of life, and you will be in control of so many things. Your relationships, your colleagues, your work relationships, your life balance, your studying new things, and really resolution of so many problems in your life by having this control. Okay, not reacting as a cell and then being emotional about things, and lots of times it cannot be. Okay, so use what we have as the human intelligence. That will come out only when you are exceeding this so-called human emotions and human thoughts. Especially if you have already built a egoic structure made of thoughts and then thought evoked to ego structure, that's not going to release you. It's going to take you, and then it will produce a lot of problems. We see that, right? People who are egoic, they are not empathetic, they are not compassionate, They are not helping nature. They are not really like you unless you puff off their ego. There are so many people like that, right? Especially if they happen to be a leader in a corporation, they usually have problems suppressing their ego and serving other people's needs. That's why I teach servant leadership, where you are, because you are content, happy, and fulfilled within yourself, you are able to attend to other people's needs, and that way you feel like you are helping them in a way, because their suffering will be reduced. At least for me as a physician, that's what it looks like. Okay. All right. I can go on this topic because I love this topic, and I have guided a lot of people about, from people who never even took a minute to slow down their mind, to the people who are completely silent and content within themselves, and they're happy about that. When people burn out, when they come to me, usually it is how they don't understand how the mind was not managed. On the other hand, it was taxed with a lot of information, a lot of stimuli all the time. And that is getting worse with all this information information is not the bad, but how you use it, that is the one you want to learn about. Okay. Um, but all the information you don't need. You need the wisdom. Okay, some new skills, fine, but then how you use the new skill, that's the wisdom. So information derives wisdom if you look for it, if you work for it, if you have insights into that, and then use them. But if you load just a piece of information and then you are able to remember them, you are feeling very electrically high because you are able to remember this technical stuff. That's when you're running it from. Okay. Anyway, I can go into different subjects on this, but I don't want to. Just remember, you got to engage in a quiet quest of your real nature, which is beyond your body and beyond your mind. And that spark of life sense, that is you, that is the reality. That will continue on. So people get rid of their fear of death, any number of things, because they identify who they are. So in Sanskrit, in ancient wisdom, like they say, you can get rid of the highest, most severe suffering by understanding this, and you also can find your ultimate fulfillment in life. Okay, that's why this is important to consider. Anyway, we'll talk more about it later, and I will see you again tomorrow at 8 p.m. So the last chance for anybody who want to come up and talk about this topic. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow then. Okay, bye bye.